All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, no. Hey guys, what is going on? You're checking out an all new The RCWR Show Friday night, November 8th, 2019. A very much stronger Lee Sanders joining you all. How many of you all, be honest, how many of you all out of curiosity maybe had dropped on that Wednesday night edition show? Boy, was that a rough show to do or what? I actually had played that back and I was sounding like Wolfman Jack, baby. Yeah, that was really rough. I think next time I end up being that sick, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the night off, but I felt so bad about taking Wednesday night off because the last thing I wanted to do was disappoint some of our sponsors because we had got some new sponsors that came on board, and for some of them, that was like the Wednesday night show going into Thursday, that was their debut. And then there were others that reached out to me privately. Oh yeah, hey, we're gonna make sure we let our friends and associates know that you're gonna be promoting us. So it's kind of like, oh man, the one time I wanted to take the night off and I couldn't. But I'm feeling a lot better. I've been taking my NyQuil, my DayQuil, took some Mucinex, and been catching up on a lot of sleep. In between work, of course, but past 2 days I was definitely dragging, but ended up feeling a lot better today. Voice was still kind of straining off and on, but I'm glad I'm feeling a lot better now. So I hope your weekend is off to a great start. We got AEW Full Gear that's going down this weekend, and hey, heads up, sadly, and I'll blame it on the code, we didn't cover AEW Full Gear. We didn't cover the matches. We didn't offer no picks. So we're definitely going to be doing that on this show. I know you guys strictly like to talk of Smackdown, but we're going to switch it up a little bit just for this week only. So Seth, make sure you're listening and make sure you make note of my picks. I'll definitely hook you up with the timestamp so you can check it out yourself later. All right, so yeah, Smackdown tonight, it was all about, you would think, the invasion. I mean, that's like the hottest thing that's going on right now, right? Is the invasion angle. And you saw everything that kicked off with last week's SmackDown, and we're going to talk about the ratings because we now know the ratings that came about from AEW and NXT for this past Wednesday night. We'll break that down a little bit further, but you're going into this week's SmackDown, and you're going, man, with the great momentum that we had from last week, how do you top that, or how do you at least come equal to that? Now, if you ask me off the break, Lee, was SmackDown able to somehow match what they did last week? I would say no. Definitely no. And there was an invasion, but kind of, for some people, not really an invasion. You know what I'm saying? So what I mean by that is, as far as the invasion goes tonight, the only people we had representing NXT was Shayna Baszler, who made her presence felt, and we're kind of jumping around a little bit. That's how we do it on this show sometimes, but we had Shayna Baszler interfere in a great one-on-one bout between Nikki Cross and Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, by the way, coming out to some new music, coming out to a remix version of her Boss song by her cousin or uncle, whatever the hell he is. I know he's a relative, Snoop Dogg. Didn't sound that bad. I actually didn't have a problem with the version that they had cut. It kind of sounds as if maybe, just maybe, it needs a little bit more tweaking, but I like the song. It's got a nice beat to it and everything. I dig it. It's going to take a while for it to grow on me because I've been so used to hearing the other one that's so poppy-like, and I'm not talking poppy like the artist, poppy as in the genre, like pop. But I like it. I think it's going to grow on me. I think it's going to grow on many fans. I wouldn't be surprised if many fans had heard that version tonight going, yeah, I like that version off the break. It's solid. I mean, come on, you can never go wrong with Snoop Dogg doing his thing, dropping some lyrics on your track. You can never go wrong with that. You got Snoop Dogg, you're good, right? But yeah, that was a great match that Sasha Banks had against Nikki Cross. Bayley healing it up at the commentating table with Corey Graves, Michael Cole. Loved all of that. You know, sometimes I was kind of listening to Bayley and she sounded pretty depressed. It was just kind of one of those deals like, Bayley, seriously, honey, who took a shit in your Cheerios this morning. Like, really, because she was starting to sound like droopy, big time. Look it up, people, if you don't know the character I'm talking about. But she was starting to sound a lot like Droopy. Every single time they went to her to ask her a question, everything just sounded so monotone. Everything just sounded so depressing. Even right down to the point where at one point Nikki Cross brings the action over to Sasha. Actually, no, over to Bayley. She gets like this nice, good offense on Sasha inside the ring. Somehow the action rolls outside of the ring. Sasha's out of it for a hot second. Nikki comes on over to the commentating booth, hits Bayley, and then grabs the microphone, says a whole bunch of incoherent whatever. And you come back from commercial break. Bayley's gotten herself together. She's trying to compose herself again. And she's looking at her headset like she is disgusted, and Corey and them reveal, well, not for nothing, but Nikki Cross was screaming her tail off into that headset, and there's apparently a lot of saliva around that headset and the mouthpiece. And just the way Bayley was demanding for a new headset, even that was very monotone. That was just very nonchalant. There was like no energy in it, right? No enthusiasm. There's nothing that was in it. So, you know, for me, I kind of had a little bit of a bone to pick, just a little bit with that. I mean, don't get me wrong. She was healing it up for the most part. Like, as far as like a passing grade, what I gave her tonight, I thought a B minus. I'm being more than fair, right? Some of you guys will probably say, nah, man, I would make that a little lower, but maybe I'm being a little too generous with that grade. But I would give her a B minus. I just really wish she would have healed it up a lot better and put more energy and emphasis on key things that she was saying all throughout. But man, I'm liking it. I know some people are kind of getting on her ass a little bit for the little mom's haircut or whatever they're calling it, but I like the haircut. There is something about hairstyles like that on women that I like, especially when it heightens the neck even more. Cause I'm a neck guy. You know, I if you ask me like what's my favorite features on a woman's body, the answers might surprise you, right? Now, some people would be like boobs, like, nah, I don't particularly care for the boobs. That doesn't really matter to me. You know, when you've been as experienced as I have, and you've had the big ones, you've had the small ones, and there's nothing there, you know, it's just a matter of preference. So for me, yeah, I'm not really a breast guy. I'm more of a thighs, behind, neck, eyes, lips guy. That's the kind of guy I am. So this new haircut, I'm liking it. I see people are mocking her and making fun of her haircut. I like it. I like that it brings out, you know, the features around her neck more. I don't know. I'm a neck guy. Sorry, guys. Ladies, I don't know. But I like the neck. I like that it brings out her shoulders a little more as well. That's also another feature I love on the women. I love the shoulders. So, you know, for me, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I don't know why everybody else is having a problem with it, but to each its own. But yeah, you know, I'm still digging this new heel Bayley that we got going on, and her being partnered up with Sasha this go round and everything. I'm loving it. But you know, if there's one big main takeaway I have with tonight's SmackDown, just when you think you've got some of these new alliances or reformed alliances, like with Sasha Banks and Bayley, and then you kind of got what's going on with Sami Zayn trying to recruit Daniel Bryan and all that, right? You're then kind of reminded, wow, you know, these guys that are talking real good games and everything, yeah, I'm there for my boy, that's my homie, I got they back, yeah. And then when the shit goes down, homie ain't nowhere to be found. Case in point, post-match, because the match between Nikki Cross and Bayley, it didn't even reach a proper conclusion, because if I recall right, Shayna Baszler actually had interfered in that match, and she attacked the hell out of Bayley. I'm trying to remember if she also got a piece of Nikki Cross as well. I can't really remember because it happened so fast, and I actually was checking up on some emails and everything, but I remember Shayna Baszler definitely clear as day attacking the hell out of freaking Bayley. Meanwhile, Sasha Banks, it was almost like Sasha Banks didn't want to have anything to do with Baszler. And if anything, ran in there faking like she was trying to help her partner after the fact. Yeah, for me, I just looked at that and I go, oh, okay, Sasha, I see how it is, honey. I see how it is. Yeah, I'm actually going back and looking at my notes right now as far as if that match had a proper conclusion, and it did. It's coming back to me now because the thumbnail that we're using for tonight's show, Sasha Banks, it was a damn good match too. The little bit that I did see, I would say I probably watched about 80% of the match. I was distracted, but I watched 80%. I do remember the finish though, because I took a thumbnail of it. Sasha Banks had defeated Nikki Cross via submission with the bank statement. Match came in at about almost 10 minutes. It was a great back and forth when it was all said and done. But yeah, post-match, Shayna Baszler came in, attacked, laid out Bayley. It was good shit. Good shit. I loved it. Now, we were just talking about Sami Zayn. So Sami Zayn caught up with Daniel Bryan earlier in the night and said, hey, man, I tried to give you an opportunity to, think it over and try to figure out if maybe you want to take me up on that offer, because you've seen what I've been able to do with Shinsuke Nakamura. You've also seen what I kind of was able to do with my influence on Cesaro. But hey, don't take my word for it. You can actually go talk to those guys yourself. Matter of fact, tell you what, those guys are going to be having a tag match later on. Why don't you have a front row seat and you could see for yourself what I was able to do for them and everything. Now, that's where things kind of get lost in translation here. And I'll have to rely on you all for help, because I could have sworn I heard Sami Zayn say to Daniel Bryan that Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura were going to be in action tonight, unless he was saying they were going to be in action next week, which is kind of weird, but I could have sworn he said they were going to be in action tonight, because a couple of segments later, we see Daniel Bryan backstage again with Sami Zayn, and Sami is continuing to convince him, hey, you teaming up with us is the right way to go. Look, man, go back to what went down last week. If you had me by your side, you would have been the NXT champion last week. How about that, right? So just when it seemed as though Daniel Bryan was about to give his answer, the lights flickered, which we're left with an awkward pause. Even they kind of looked awkward at each other, like, okay, this isn't exactly part of the show. What the hell? But they kept going. And I like how they sold that. You legitimately thought, oh, mechanical malfunction. Okay, whatever. But lights went out again. Like, the first time it happened, it flickered for maybe just 2 seconds, right? It was really nothing. But the next time that it happened, you just kind of went, Wyatt? And sure enough, red light comes on. We're in the red light district now, folks. And you've got Bray Wyatt standing behind DB. Sami Zayn looking around, turns around, sees Wyatt. So almost kind of similar to what Sasha Banks did with her girl Bayley, leaving her high and dry there, right? You got Sami Zayn talking the big game that he's talking. Basically, join us. Come join us. We've got the hoagies over here. Come join us. We've got cookies. We've got sandwiches. We've got cake. We've got lots of cake. We've got juice. We've got lots of juice. Come join us. Rather than Sami Zayn, dude, behind you, he just hauls ass, leaving poor D-Bryan there as Wyatt owns the hell out of him with the mandible claw and all that, screaming everything. So you're going, okay. So now we see what's next for Daniel Bryan. Okay, now, I know there's going to be a lot of my friends and colleagues out there in podcast world that are going to say, revision is history. They're going to go that route because we're going to be like, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? Daniel Bryan, Wyatt, they always seem to intertwine somehow. How about that, right? I'm not going to be poking holes at that because I look at it glass empty, half full, right? And for me, the times that D-Bryan and Wyatt hooked up, they actually delivered memorable programs. So I'm not really crapping on this whatsoever. Now, I'll approach it a different way than my friends and colleagues, which is from this standpoint, which is, I don't think it should have been D-Bryan in that position. I don't think so. And I'm going to explain to you the reason why. And the reason why I can't really go any further diving into it without first talking about the tag team championship match that happened between the Revival and New Day, because that had opened up SmackDown. So let's go to that, and then we'll segue back. But just kind of have that in the back of your mind, and you'll kind of be able to connect the dots. You probably have already connected the dots if you see where I'm going. All right, so you have Revival defending the SmackDown tag titles against the New Day, of which New Day defeated Revival to become the seven-time, I'm not going to repeat it 5 more times, sorry folks, WWE Tag Champions. Okay, so that's an impressive feature in itself, and WWE had did something that I have been wanting them to acknowledge with regards to Kofi Kingston for weeks now, since he lost that WWE Championship to Brock Lesnar, which was acknowledge the loss and acknowledge if he's been in some type of a funk or what. And finally, we had the commentators say tonight, they referenced the loss to Brock Lesnar. They referenced that Kofi Kingston has been trying to do his best to stay upbeat. He's been trying to do his best to stay positive, and that this championship match for him winning it would definitely swing his momentum in the right direction. It would definitely take it in a more positive direction than what he's been feeling these past several weeks since suffering that loss. So I like that that was finally acknowledged, but that really should have been acknowledged immediately the following week. Honestly, the following week that he lost it, it should have been acknowledged. And not for nothing, and I don't want to beat the horse to death, but we talked about it at great length on at least 2 shows. And just to summarize, I felt that WWE missed out on a great opportunity to have Kofi Kingston be in a pretty dark place. New Day trying to do their best to, get him out of that funk and everything. And they missed a golden opportunity, not going a heel route or anything like that, but really just showing the psychological effect of losing that WWE Championship on Kofi, and how he's now basically, he's tasted it. Now he is obsessed with it, and he wants nothing else than to be reunited back with his precious again, right? Kind of quoting Lord of the Rings there. But they missed out on a great opportunity, I personally felt, and at least continuing to tell that story, right? Even leading up to setting up this tag match with the Revival and everything. That was actually a damn good opener for your matches for tonight too, with Revival and New Day. I enjoyed that. That match was pretty short as well. That match, it was barely 10 minutes. Barely 10 minutes. I actually love, in particular, the sequence at the end. Those of you that got SmackDown on your DVR, you're going to be watching the highlights this weekend, maybe a little modified SmackDown recap. I don't know if they still offer it on Hulu or what, but you guys will see in the final 2 minutes of that match, there's a great sequence that basically sets up Kofi Kingston for the missile drop kick, double team, setting up the trouble in paradise and everything, while Big E's holding the opponent together and everything. It's a great sequence how everything had went down, with Revival trying to counter and New Day countering the way I just described it, and they become the new tag champions. That whole finishing sequence was awesome, but the whole match, their chemistry, everything was awesome with that tag match. So as far as matches tonight, that's definitely the one match I would say that stands out to me the most from tonight's SmackDown. But I don't exactly know if, me personally, and this isn't me, trying to be a director. I know that's the new thing now. We got Big Show and a couple other people. No, what we do is not direct. What we do is offer constructive feedback. There's a big difference. There's a big difference from, going over 15 minutes of, I would have had this person say this line, and then this person comes out, and then, no, that's directing. No, what we're offering is constructive feedback, constructive criticism. Ties back to what I just said a few minutes ago, which is Daniel Bryan now being in the position that he's in, facing Wyatt. I don't think it should have been him. I think it should have been Kofi Kingston in there instead. And I think one of the things that you could have had, if anything, I honestly feel that Revival should have gone over tonight, personally. And Revival going over could send Kofi Kingston a little bit more over the edge. It's like, damn, wasn't able to get the job done against Brock Lesnar. God damn, I wasn't able to get the job done against the Revival. I would have loved to seen in a backstage segment Kofi Kingston beating himself up, Big E coming to him, trying to give him pancakes or whatever the fuck, right? And Kofi just swats those pancakes away and says, dog, seriously, man, you're my boy, but not right now. Just leave me be. It's the best thing you could do right now. Leave me be. And Big E just could have been like, man, if that's what you really want, oh, okay, dog, you got my number, call me. Could have panned back to Cole and the gang, and they could have commented on that. Now, that could have been a nice little carrot for you to stick around as a viewer, because you're kind of going, I wonder if this is the last time I see Kofi. Damn, he's in a funk. Okay, nice little kink in his armor for once. All right, for once, the one time where Kofi Kingston is not his happy-go-lucky self. Good. And then it would have been great. Then you have Sami Zayn come across Kofi Kingston and say, hey, Kofi, not for nothing, dude, but I saw that match out there against Revival. Great match, but damn, when it was all said and done, you didn't get the job done when it was counted the most. And man, I really feel for you right now because you lost Xavier Woods. He's out with that tear. He's out for a couple of months. Man, that sucks. And then look at what happened there with that tag match there. You couldn't get the job done. Look, not for nothing, man, but now you slide in that same pep talk that he tried to give freaking Daniel Bryan, that same sales pitch. You have Sami Zayn put it out there to him and everything like that. And that would have been a better setup, I think, if you would have had Bray Wyatt enter that, right? Because Bray Wyatt, he's got that whole hate, fear, all that good shit. You just randomly, he just goes after people, just randomly, right? I would have preferred it if you would have had Wyatt and Kofi. For me personally, and I got nothing personal against D-Bryan. I don't. I think if anything, it just felt so random that all of a sudden it would appear that at Survivor Series, D-Bryan is going to be facing Wyatt for the championship. Because we just saw D-Bryan and it seemed like he was the one that was trying to be the heartbeat for SmackDown. Because we see him last week, he's confronting Triple H and HBK. The hell are you guys doing here? And they're saying what they're saying, and that has more consistency in itself. And I just personally feel that with 2 weeks to go until Survivor Series, I just feel from the SmackDown side of things, WWE writers dropped the ball there, because let's count the ways real quick. Not for nothing, but at one point, Daniel Bryan was what was he, the general manager or the commissioner? I think commissioner was Shane, right? And Daniel Bryan was the general manager, right? And then even after D-Bryan had stepped down from that role, he still managed to pull some strings with Shane O'Mac, and whatever matches he was trying to get from time to time, get some stipulations added or whatever, he was able to do that with Shane and them, right? So I find it kind of weird that if there was ever a time, and here's the other big problem in which WWE have backed themselves into a corner right now, right? Feel me on this. So NXT is being represented by Triple H. He is the face of Triple H. He is the general leading his troops. Yet when you go over to Raw and SmackDown, there isn't really definitively that general that's going in with their troops as well. So given that D-Bryan had the past history as a SmackDown GM, he had the management experience, all of that, don't you think it would have made even more sense, especially seeing him stepping up to the plate, kind of marking the territory? The hell are you doing on my turf, man? This is our turf. What are you doing on the blue turf? It would have made all the sense in the world for him to continue picking up that mantle and trying to rally everybody else together and everything. If you still wanted to, you could have had Sami Zayn in the background kind of doing his little thing or whatever, but you could have easily picked back up on that after Survivor Series is my whole point. So, and then you kind of essentially have the same problem over on Raw, right? Now, some people feel, give it some time. We got 2 more weeks to go. That's basically 2 more episodes. You really break it down. That's really 6 more shows in 2 weeks for them to bring the Seth Rollins and everybody else. Okay, yeah, you're talking about particularly the Raw side of things, but you still haven't quite tackled the SmackDown side of things. And not for nothing, but SmackDown still hasn't tried to extract their revenge on the NXT roster as well. So this may be a case where coming up next Wednesday night, the SmackDown roster infiltrates NXT. You can't help but wonder how that's going to play out. So let me know what you guys think. I feel that I'm on the right path in what I just laid out there. Also, Baron Corbin. Love Baron Corbin. That was a great main event match that he had on SmackDown tonight. Closing out SmackDown was Corbin taking on Roman Reigns. Corbin actually picking up the win. Had a little bit of help, though, from Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. That match, man, I tell you what, I love me some Baron Corbin. Now, I like that people are coming more and more around on Baron Corbin and everything, but let me tell you something. For all the progress that Corbin continues to make in the ring, on the microphone especially, all the progress that he continues to make, segments like what he was involved in to open up SmackDown before we got that tag team championship match, makes you cringe and go, oh yeah, now I'm kind of reminded why I don't like this guy, when instead you should kind of be putting the blame on creative. Okay, so Baron Corbin, he opens up SmackDown for 15 minutes, just cutting a promo on Roman Reigns, calling him a small puppy and all this other stuff, even pulling up Roman Reigns graphic of the little Rockweiler or whatever, and rather than the Rockweiler going, row, 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 and that was just going on and on and on, and talking about big dog's balls, tiny little balls, and it just sounded very Vince McMahon-ish. You know, he's got big balls. Go out there and say that tiny balls. yeah, tiny balls, tiny little minuscule balls. Yeah. Balls the size of a Q-tip, little small cotton balls. It doesn't have balls. It just sounded very Vince McMahon-ish, very, very childish, very 5-year-old-ish, basically. And it was weird because when Corbin came out and he's out there in the middle of the ring, as soon as his music cuts off, that UK crowd, that was a good ass crowd too, by the way. Where were they anyway? Were they in where were they? Were they in Manchester, guys? I know they were in the UK. I just don't know exactly where they were in the UK. But that was a lit crowd. That was a damn lit crowd. I enjoyed that crowd. And they let Baron Corbin have it as soon as his music went off. I mean, they were booing the fuck out of him. So you're like, okay, all right, he's getting a reaction. That's a good, strong reaction. All right, work it. And he was doing okay the first 5 minutes. Maybe 7 minutes, he was doing okay. But then it just felt like the longer he was talking, the longer the segment went. It was going into overtime, and it was like, okay, now you're killing time. And then when he did the stuff with the puppy, then it felt really, really overkill, So stuff like that, they got to tighten that up, And, Baron Corbin, he still has all of the greatest potential in the world to be a multi-time WWE champion, without a shadow of doubt. But segments like what they had him involved in tonight. Now, I will just to kind of play devil's advocate a little bit. I can look at it half empty, half full again, right? All right, that was a kind of a cringeworthy segment there, right? Because it started off good, and then it went rocky, and then it was starting to go down the landslide. Because nobody came out. You thought for sure somebody was going to come out and put a stop to that segment, but nobody did. But what was redeeming was the end of the night and a great one-on-one match that he had with Roman Reigns. And I think anybody that recalls the history of Corbin and Roman man, anytime you get those two guys in a one-on-one match, it's gonna be good. I mean, you could just, okay, who's on the card tonight? Oh, Roman taking on Corbin? Oh, that's gonna be fine. Hey, that's gonna be a good match. And Corbin redeemed himself there, I felt, in that main event match. So, you know, a little bit of weird booking right there, but it's all good. See, I'm trying to see if there's anything else we could talk about. I'm just looking at my notes real quick before we get ready to move on to some wrestling headlines here. Yeah, there was other than the Shayna Baszler NXT invasion, there was another invasion from NXT as well, but this was their subdivision. It was NXT UK. Imperium had made their presence felt. Everybody in Imperium had attacked Heavy Machinery. I don't know who Heavy Machinery was supposed to attack. Well, you know what? Maybe Heavy Machinery, maybe there's our answer right there from earlier. Remember I asked the question about, did Sami Zayn say that Cesaro and Nakamura were going to be in action tonight? If they were, then you're kind of led to the impression maybe it was to face Heavy Machinery, right? But that match, whoever Heavy Machinery was supposed to face, did not happen because Imperium had attacked them. And sadly, going off of that UK crowd, the UK crowd, not really knowing who the hell was attacking Heavy Machinery. And then even when the cameras had got the close-up on the Imperium guys, I mean, you guys that were at the UK show tonight, you got to let us know how the reactions were for Imperium, but just how it played off TV. It seemed like there was a lot of confusion. It seemed like there were many people that weren't really sure who those guys were, right? And that's kind of sad if that's really the case, because you're in the UK and you got NXT UK, so that's just how it played off. And I had my TV cranked up pretty damn loud, so I'm very curious how that's going to be in post-production, where they get ready to air the encore, if they're going to dub that in and put some booze in there or whatever. But speaking of Heavy Machinery, they had the nasty-ass Pizza Hut commercial once again, promoting the goddamn Cheez-Its, the Cheez-It stuffed crust bites. Let me tell you something, man. That's the worst goddamn pizza I've ever tasted. I had that. My girl had that. My mother-in-law had that, and we did not like it whatsoever. We thought that was the nastiest goddamn thing we ever had. It was like, go with the stuffed crust, right? Just go with the original stuffed crust or the pepperoni. You know, that Cheez-It, it is nasty, and the size is very deceitful. You think what you're getting is literally the size of the Pizzones. You think that at first, and some of the pictures that you see, you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty. But man, when you actually get it, it's very, very small. How small, you ask? You all are familiar with the Eggo waffles in the frozen food section? That's how small they are. Okay, now if some other city is cooking them bigger, I don't know anything about it, but I'm just telling you how it actually comes. Them things are small and they're nasty as fuck. But I love that WWE little commercial spot with Heavy Machinery, and they're pulling the what's the movie with Sylvester Stallone? I think it was Over the Top. Maybe it was Over the Top, where he's doing the arm wrestling thing with the little kid and everything. They're having their little moment there, arm wrestling, and Carmella just comes in moonwalking and takes the last freaking Cheez-It bite, and she's moonwalking back, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, Carmella, yeah, enjoy that, hun, because it's not going to last in your tummy that long. You're going to be moonwalking your ass instantly to the shitter, so good luck with that. Seriously. One other thing that happened on SmackDown that was noteworthy tonight, Tyson Fury had wanted to chat with Braun Strowman. Strowman came out, Tyson Fury basically saying, hey, look, thanks for the opportunity to face you at Crown Jewel a couple of weeks ago. It was a great match. Had a great time. You know, blowing smoke up his ass, but, you know, trying to be a peacemaker and saying to him, hey, look, you know, I don't want to continue to fight you, you know, but if anything, I'd like to team up with you. And you kind of got to trace it back. Remember, when he was cutting the promo that he cut on Braun Strowman, he said, hey, you know, before everything had went down sour between you and me, you know, I was cool with you. Hell, my kid loves the hell out of you. Of all the WWE superstars, my kid loves the hell out of you. And You know, I don't get it. You know, I don't know why you come after me like this, right? So now we see some type of peace offering being made, basically. And he did talk about how he had some unfinished business in the world of boxing because he has a fight coming up on February 22nd. But he had some unfinished business with Braun. And yeah, he said that, yeah, Fury actually said to Braun Strowman, I think we should be a tag team. Just imagine with our forces combined, just imagine what we could do and everything. I don't think there's a team stupid enough in the back that would want to face us. What you think? B team actually came out, said the B stands for fearless. All right, Hooked on Phonics worked for them, I guess. And they pretty much made quick work out of them. Yeah, that was just... All right, so now we see basically what's on the future for these guys. Good stuff, good stuff. Carmella. Now, if you were to ask me, okay, so who is a legit team that maybe could face these guys, you know? Well, if I'm not mistaken, Akeem and Razir from Authors of Pain, they got drafted to Raw, correct? Because if they got drafted to Raw, there goes that idea, right? Because I would love to see AOP against those guys. That would be, woo, that would be interesting. But assuming that AOP is on Raw, and that creates a very interesting dynamic. I'm just thinking about the current roster right now. I'm trying to think about like what two powerhouses. There's no names that really jump out at me right now. Not unless you dust off Kane and The Undertaker. Do some type of a novelty little thing that way. Not unless you maybe go in that direction. Because if you're not going to go in that direction, who else? You know, who else do you have on the roster? Size-wise, that could maybe go up against those two guys, right? I've got to go back and look at the full SmackDown roster again. Because I still kind of feel like there's a couple of cats we haven't seen since the draft had went down. That's just me, but I gotta look at it again. We'll follow this up on Monday. I'll have enough of a time to look at the whole roster and maybe get some ideas that way on possibly how some stuff could go down. Also, we had a women's match, Carmella and Dana Brooke. Carmella and Dana Brooke defeating Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Yeah, that's what I had said. That was a short change of a match right there. Just when I think I know what's going on with Mandy and Sonya, the booking on that one just leaves me continuing to scratch my head. I mean, the fire and desire. I'm all about Mandy Rose and Sonya. Love them tremendously. I love their chemistry. I mean, come on, we're seeing them on Total Divas. Why aren't we continuing to capitalize, build off of that? They've got more cachet right now than Carmella and Dana Brooke, I personally feel. So, yeah, that one just continues to be a head scratcher for me. But, yeah, definitely as far as the matches tonight, I definitely would have to say that the tag match for the SmackDown tag titles, definitely go out of your way, check that one out. I would also say Sasha Banks taking on Nikki Cross. That was a good one as well. And remember what I was talking about earlier here? And shout out to, who is that? Shout out to D-Bryan. D-Bryan had actually private messaged me on Twitter just now. He said, Lee, watching the stream, actually Cesaro and Nakamura did see action. They took on Ali and Chad Gable. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, bro. Looks like Cesaro and Nakamura had defeated Ali and Gable. A lot of these matches were short tonight, man. Yeah, you know what? When that match had came on, there's no telling what the hell I was doing at that time, because I know I was kind of running around the house. So I'm looking at all of the other matches. I saw pretty much all of them. How that one slipped past me, well, when it's barely 5 minutes, there's your answer right there. When you know, that's how you can easily miss that. All right, so we got a couple of headlines we need to dive into. One thing I want to do, I want to talk about the AEW Full Gear card. We were supposed to talk about that on Wednesday's show. And somehow, because I was sick, it passed my mind. So I do want to talk about that AEW Full Gear card. Looking at that, we got that coming up this Saturday. By the way, in case you guys did not know, we did a prize giveaway, and we had the contest going. Let me see, how did we do it? Yeah, we crowned the winner yesterday, so it was actually Wednesday. Wednesday, we had began a contest. Was it Wednesday? I'm trying to think if it was Wednesday or if it was Tuesday. It was Wednesday, it feels like, because we announced the winners last night. So I think the contest went live Wednesday. We were giving away a code to see StarCast, all of the StarCast shows on Fight TV. And what was really cool about that package was you also got to see the previous StarCast. And I did say that with a plural, right? You got to see all of them from the first one and second all the way up to now. It was all part of one cool package, a unique code, so you can see all of that and the new StarCast happening as we speak. And we did a really cool prize giveaway for it. And shout out to our winner. Our winner was, oh God, it sounds like it's HBK, but I think it's HKO or something like that. HKO. You go on our Twitter timeline. We announced who the winner was and everything. And I appreciate everybody that had entered the contest and most importantly had followed the rules. There were sadly a lot of people. It was close. We had a lot of people that did not follow all the instructions. It was easy. We had said retweet and like. Now, I wasn't being technical on that one. If you did one and not the other, I was able to look the other way. But you had to do one of those, and then you had to follow the RCWR show, and then you had to let us know who got your vote for Wrestler of the Year. And there were people that didn't do one of those things or any of those things and thought they were going to be able to enter. It was really, really weird. Really weird. We had wrestling podcasts that tried to enter, and it was like, wait a minute, what's up with that? Like, you got a wrestling podcast. Even if you were to tell me, oh no, not yet, I'm getting ready to start it up, you're still in the field, right? You're still in that industry, right? It's like, so it's like, it's one thing if you have a podcast and it's not covering wrestling, then it's like, okay, all right, I can respect that. Okay, cool. But like, to see that there were actual wrestling podcasts that were trying to enter the contest, it was like, come on, man. That's not cool to the people that aren't doing wrestling podcasts, that legitimately are just fans that want to check out the StarCast event because they want to check it out, right? That's kind of taking an opportunity away from them. So I disqualified them instantly once I saw their bio. Yeah, it wasn't a case where I just, they're in, no, I was purposely going out of my way, looking at who all did what, reading their bios, all that shit, looking at their Twitter timeline, looking at their history, trying to see, okay, is this a real account or was this just a ghost account? I was looking at all of that shit. But it was cool. There were a lot of people that did not follow instructions. And something else that was really cool about the question, who's your wrestler of the year for 2019? That was also funny too, because you saw a couple of people that commented just to be commenting. And if I mention the names, like, some people will feel hurt, and I don't want them feeling hurt. But you could tell who was really current on what all's been happening in wrestling in 2019 versus I'm just saying something just to sound cool, just so I can answer it. But we're definitely going to be doing another prize giveaway somewhere down the road, probably the next time AEW does another contest. Maybe we'll do something then or whatever, but it was really cool doing that. So we got Full Gear. It's going to be happening in my stomping grounds. I mean, we're here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. It's going to be happening in Baltimore, Maryland this Saturday, November 9th at the Royal Farms Arena. Will I be watching it? If I do end up watching it, I'll tell you this, I'm not paying $50. So whoever's going to be streaming it, because as far as I'm concerned, I spent $20 on the MLW Super Fight card. Loved it. So I've already got billed for that on my with Verizon. I'm not really interested in paying $50 extra just to watch this pay-per-view. But I will be watching the pay-per-view. Somehow, some way, I will be watching the pay-per-view. Will I be doing a post-show? Depends on what I'm going to be doing afterwards. But we got 8 matches. Let's go. Joey Janela taking on Shawn Spears, singles match. Look, man, Shawn Spears got to come out on top. Plain and simple. Shawn Spears got to come out on top with a great look that he has, and with a great mouthpiece, with a great manager like a Tully Blanchard and everything. You just got to believe that Shawn Spears is going to go over. Shawn Spears has been on a little bit, it kind of feels like it. Maybe it's not the case, but it kind of feels like he's been a little bit on a funk as of late. So I'm really looking for him to bounce back big time and start bouncing back off of Joey Janela, especially since we're going to be doing this whole win-loss record. It's going to mean something. And as you guys probably had already saw, and we'll talk more about it on Monday, but during a AEW media conference call, Cody had revealed an AEW power ranking system, and he said each Friday it's going to be updated and released so you can see the new power rankings and everything. So, but yeah, I'm looking at a guy like Shawn Spears. I'm expecting him to go out on top in this match against Joey Janela. SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky taking on the Lucha Brothers, also taking on Private Party. It's going to be a 3-way tag match for the AEW World Tag Titles. Yeah, I really wanted to see the Lucha Brothers become the inaugural AEW World Tag Champions, but it just kind of felt as though the buddy system, it's all about the buddies getting that first touch. That's just how it felt. Now, I'm not saying that's how it went all across the board. I'm just saying that's how it kind of felt. Some people love them SoCal Uncensored. I like them as well, but man, those guys, I'm more so, like, if I could find one silver lining, I'm really happy for Scorpio Sky. You know, like Kazarian, Daniels, they've been there, they've done that, they've won tag titles all over the place. So if I could find one little silver lining, it's just, well, you know what, for Scorpio Sky, I'm kind of happy for him and everything, because off and on, I've been a fan of his work. I actually remember his stuff from TNA and all that, but definitely from ROH and everything. So, I mean, there's that part of me that, but you could almost make the argument, well, he's kind of another one that at various points in his career touched tag team gold and everything. So, but now, you know, more so, I'm kind of just, I want to see the Lucha Brothers. I'm really, really hooked on the Lucha Brothers right now for everything that they did with Impact. And then that one episode of The Wrestlers on Vice, that just made me really gravitate towards them more, just hearing their story and everything, especially Phoenix and everything. Yeah, I'm really leaning towards the Lucha Brothers coming out on top with that one. Rio defends the AEW Women's Championship against Emi Sakura. Emi Sakura. So a 90-pound girl taking on a woman that likes to dress up as Freddie Mercury. Oh, man. This is a tough one. It feels like it should be a no-brainer, right? But, man, when you take the time out and you do research on Sakura, you realize that homegirl has an incredible journey. She's been a bit all over the place in her career. I don't know, guys. You got me on this one. I'll go with the champion retaining. I'm gonna say the champion retains. Yeah, I'm gonna say Rio. I'm gonna stick to Rio. That's gonna be it. Rio. I'm not changing my mind. All right. What else we got here? What's the other matches we got here? B. Presley takes on Britt Baker. Shit. Oh, this is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. It feels like it's gonna be Britt Baker. It feels like it's gonna be Britt Baker. Baker. I'm gonna say Baker. Adam Page takes on Pac. Oh, man, that should be a damn good match. That should be a damn good match. I am going to go with Page. Young Bucks take on Santana and Ortiz. Isn't this Santana and Ortiz's first tag match officially since they've been part of the roster? Because I remember when they showed up on the inaugural episode of AEW Dynamite to basically help Jericho form the Inner Circle and everything. So just kind of keeping up with the consistency, you would like to believe that by default, Santana and Ortiz, they should go over the Bucks, right? I'm gonna circle them. Santana, Ortiz. Jericho takes on Cody. Remember, if Cody loses, he will never challenge for the AEW World Championship again. He'll still be wrestling. He just won't be able to challenge for the AEW World Championship again. Two ways this match could play out. Either Jericho defeats Cody by himself, or Jericho gets a little bit of help. Does MJF even play a factor? A lot of people have been saying for these past couple of shows, when is MJF turning on Cody? Seems kind of odd that MJF is just always behind him, kind of like a lapdog and everything. Not really having much of an impact or whatever. Most part in the background and everything. What the hell is going on with MJF? So, could MJF be a factor right here? Who knows? But you got to give 48 going on 49-year-old Chris Jericho a lot of props, man. Jericho has just... And did you guys see what Jericho was able to do on Inside the NBA last night? Man, he killed it with Ernie, Shaq, Kenny, and them. He killed it. I loved it. He is just all around good. You got to ride that out. You got to ride that out. So I think the real question is Jericho going to win by hook or is he going to win by crook? I am going to say in some shape or form, Jericho is going to get some type of help. There's going to be some type of fuckery that's going to go on, and Jericho will retain. Cody will not be the one to take the title off of Chris Jericho, but as a result of the shenanigans that's going to play out in that match, I can see some type of a noble champion, maybe like a Hangman Page or some shit like that. I just see some noble champion who will dethrone Jericho, say, hey, look, I have the opportunity to pick who I want as my next opponent for the title, and that's how Cody gets re-injected. Because remember the language there. If Cody loses, he will never challenge. Okay, so he's saying, if I lose, I won't be challenging for the title again. But that doesn't stop a champion from saying, hey, dude, I handpick you. Tag, you're it. Face me one-on-one for the title. Let's go. Yeah, fuckery. I'm going with Jericho. Jon Moxley takes on Kenny Omega. Non-sanctioned lights out match. Fuck. That's a tricky one right there. Moxley. I'll go with Moxley. All right, so to recap, I got Moxley for the non-sanctioned lights out match. I've got Jericho retaining the AEW championship. I've got Santana and Ortiz over the Bucks. I've got Paige over Pac. I've got Baker over B. Presley. I've got Rio retaining her AEW women's title. I got Lucha Brothers as your new AEW tag champions. I got Shawn Spears over Joey Janela. And like I said, if we end up going live for that show, I'll let you all know without a shadow of doubt on social media and everything. I think we got some sponsors we need to recognize for this edition of the RCWR show. So I definitely want to give them some shout out. Shout out to LeafyAssets.com. If you're a real estate investor or entrepreneur, they can help protect your assets and strategically grow your business and wealth. Check them out. LeafyAssets.com. SheaBoo.com. SheaBoo for all your natural skincare products, the best natural skincare products on earth, made from natural organics, oils, and shea butter. Truly the best vegan skincare products. SheaBoo.com. President Evil, just days before the November midterm elections, 3 young girls are stalked by a deranged killer dressed as the President of the United States. Check out the trailer, check out the movie on Amazon.com. President Evil. Also, we're brought to you in part by Eloquens.com. Try their step-by-step template for calculating key figures and more with their multi-purpose break-even analysis template for your business, and keep better track of your financial stats for your business. The RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is also brought to you in part by IamCanary.com. Life can be so unpredictable. Better to be prepared for any situation than be sorry, even if you cannot do it yourself. I Am Canary can. They've created a product that will help anyone send a crucially important message in case of an emergency or accident in life. Great affordable plans with more than 12,000 registered users since 2018. Check them out. We're also brought to you in part by StreakFreeXL.com. Clean your stove, countertops, mirrors, windows, your car, you name it, without dealing with those irritating smudges and streaks. Check them out. Great product. StreakFreeXL.com. Also, we're brought to you in part by CBDBioCare360.com. Use the code TONY, spelled TOUNI, to get 5% off your order. You want the very best and legit CBD products, gummies, capsules, balms, products for your pets, and more? Check them out, CBDBioCare360.com. Also want to recognize our Patreon members, patreon.com/RCWR Show. Me and Tammy, we're going to be dropping some, I think we're doing a Wrestling with the Topics. I think we might do a double dose. I think we're going to record a 30 with Lee, and we're going to do Wrestling with the Topics, but I know we're recording audio tomorrow. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. $5 a month. You get access to a boatload of great audio exclusive content. You also get access to ad-free episodes for all the RCWR shows. That's free on demand and on the downloads. You get to hear all of those shows edited, ad-free, new bonus content, exclusive shows, whole 9 yards, all for just $5 a month, flat out. Check it out, patreon.com/RCWR Show. Shout out to Sean Kenter, Tony Bing Gaming, Freddie R. Freddie, Michael Wolf, John Davis. It feels great to say Freddie again, too. Freddie! John Davis, my amigo Anthony Missionary Thomas from Wrestling Soup, and Joe Raymond Jr. Also, shout out to, can't believe I almost forgot about him. Shout out to also a Patreon member, John Krauser. All right, so one last thing I want to get into on tonight's show as we get ready to wrap it up here. And I did say ratings, right? I did talk about that briefly. So ratings are now out, and we now have a very, very good, interesting idea on how both shows are doing, or at least how they've been doing since this injection of the NXT invasion and everything. So NXT for this past week did 822,000 viewers. Okay, that's great. And again, that's AEW. I hope I didn't say NXT. AEW did 822,000 viewers. NXT, meanwhile, did 813,000. Okay, so I mean, when you compare those numbers to the October 31st Wednesday night edition for both respected shows, AEW did 759,000, so they went up. Okay, so that's great. But then when you look at NXT went up as well, because on that October 31st episode, NXT hit 580,000. So I mean, what a difference a week makes. Now, of course, you could make the argument, well, NXT had went up because of that invasion angle. Yeah, very true. But still, and I got to give a shout out to Dave Meltzer's people, because they did this really cool breakdown of the stats on how everything had went down, each segment and everything. And check this out. This is really, really, really fascinating. Okay, so when you break this down, AEW was up 8.9% from last week when it competed against Game 7 of the World Series. Meanwhile, NXT went up 39 point something percent. The two were against NBA on ESPN, which had 1,491,000 viewers, up 57% from 947,000 viewers last week. AEW started well and then began to drop off this week, while NXT grew its audience. So check this out. Check out this breakdown. So this week's shows, AEW began with 976,000 for Pac taking on Trent. Remember, we had put that match over too. while NXT started with 819,000 for the OC invading and the start of Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest. Quarter 2, AEW lost 18,000 for the Cody interview, while NXT lost 19,000 for the end of Dunne Priest. Quarter 3, AEW dropped 150,000 for Private Party versus the Dark Order, while NXT gained 13,000 for Tanara taking on Santana Garrett. Makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. I remember a lot of people were kind of going, oh, not these guys again for the Dark Order. And plus a lot of Santana Garrett fans, obviously. Quarter 4, AEW went up 18,000 for the end of the tag match in the Jericho video. Makes a lot of sense. While NXT gained 6,000 for Shayna Baszler versus Dakota Kai, which was a damn good match, by the way. Quarter 5, AEW dropped 29,000 for Rio versus Shana for Rio and Shana versus Sakura and Jamie Hayter, while NXT dropped 26,000 for the women's brawl and the interview with Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle. All right, we only got 3 more quarters here. Quarter 6, AEW lost another 99,000 for the Brandy Rhodes video. Josh, what did you expect? I mean, seriously. I mean, that should tell you something right there. So, I mean, let's pause right there. So, you know, I know for a lot of people, it's like, but really just home in and think about that now. Think about that. On the AEW side of things, as far as who is dropping the most right here, okay, it's almost a tie, but not much. Coming in at number 1, you look at what was it? Didn't they lose like 100 and where is that? Let me go back a second. 150,000 for the Private Party and Dark Order. Now, I like Private Party. I don't care what anybody's. I like Private Party. Private Party reminds me a lot. Yes, that comparison, right? But they're still standing out on their own as far as trying to carve out their own identity and everything. I love them as a tag team. I think if you pulled them away from the Dark Order and honestly you had Private Party with Bucks and Ortiz, Santana, you know, the Lucha Brothers, right? You know, I think if you did that more, you kind of have, hell, you can even put them with the Best Friends. I'm curious what would happen if you take Private Party and put them in any one of those type of segments with those teams, and just out of curiosity, see the difference between that and something involving Dark Order. I'm very, very curious. But then in second place, you go with Brandy Rhodes. Ooh, that was just a video package. Wow. That was just a video package. All right. Meanwhile, that also had included the Shawn Spears versus Brandon Cutler too. So, I mean, not for nothing, us fans have now, when we see Brandon Cutler, he's losing, change the channel. Meanwhile, NXT lost 24,000 for Tony Nese taking on Angel Garza, which is a damn shame because that was one of the fucking matches of the night for that whole card. Quarter 7, AEW went up 40,000 for the Moxley Omega video in the start of the main event. NXT went up 15,000 for Isaiah Scott versus Dominic Dijakovic. Quarter 8, AEW gained 29,000 for the main event and the brawl at the end, while NXT gained 23,000 for the main event featuring OC. You did have the overrun for NXT once AEW ended promptly at 10 o'clock, and as a result of that, NXT had gained an additional 190,000 viewers for their overrun. Without the overrun, NXT would have averaged 802,000 viewers. So that kind of helps them out. So also when you break down those demographics further, that includes teenagers, about 7,000 of them, adults, 31,000, 18 to 34 range, 24,000 of them being women, 19,000 of them being men, and 42,000 for adults in the age demographic 35 to 49. Out of that ratio, 12,000 women, 30,000 men. So, I mean, that's pretty good. So they were almost neck to neck. the real thing is, where are, not necessarily AEW, but where is NXT going to be after this Survivor Series is over and done with? Once it kind of seems as though the invasion angle is over, where is NXT going to be? I mean, that's really going to be the telling tale. But yeah, I mean, if they can just tighten up the shit more, for me personally, for my taste, if they can just, I would prefer to see the Dark Order, put them on AEW Dark. Honestly, I would rather see Sonny Kiss, and that's not an insult. I would rather see Sonny Kiss. I would rather see Nyla Rose. I mean, we haven't seen Nyla Rose, like, since that whole joint looked like she was about to explode there on Rio and Kenny Omega came in. We haven't seen her since. We have yet to see Sonny Kiss on AEW Dynamite. I mean, yeah, I know she's doing her thing on Dark, but we've yet to see her on Dynamite. Like, well, what's up with that? So I would rather see those cats on Dynamite than Dark Order. If we got to do a trade-off, that's my trade-off. I would rather see the Librarian. And I don't like the Librarian gimmick. It does nothing for me. I would rather see the Librarian than the Dark Order. At least that's something I can kind of get behind, because I've always been a fan of Leva Bates, right? But yeah, the Dark Order, we gotta tone up on that. The Brandy Rhodes thing, we've already exhausted that. I don't need to rehash that again whatsoever. But I mean, everything else, just looking at everything else here. Yeah. They got to start doing some stuff with Brandon Cutler, man. Yeah, Brandon Cutler, he is like the change of channel right now. As soon as you see him, you're going, oh, change the channel. It's a loss, right? So unless you want to see how devastating the finisher is that's applied to him and shit, you kind of honestly just want to bounce. All right, so quick programming notes. As far as setting your DVR, for you Lacey Evans fans, she appeared on Lifetime's Military Makeover. This was actually her return to the series. This show is hosted by Montel Williams. So the episode had premiered a couple of hours ago. So I don't know how many times Lifetime likes to do encores, but check your respective cable satellite providers to see when you can catch the encores, or maybe it's available on demand for Lifetime. So check that out, maybe via the Lifetime app or whatever. But as far as this show, Military Makeover, the synopsis for this episode: former United States Marine and WWE superstar Lacey Evans is set to return to Lifetime's Military Makeover with Montel this season. She previously appeared on an episode during the first season. The sassy Southern Belle will join host Montel Williams. Y'all remember Montel Williams, right? Bald-head black guy? No, not me. The bald-head black guy that used to have his show, and he had that psychic chick's, what was her name? Suzanne, or whatever the fuck that chick's name is, and Sylvia. And a lot of people, like, somehow she was exposed to be a fraud or some shit like that. And I mean, I think that might have been the beginning of the end for Montel Williams' show and everything, his talk show and everything. But anyway, yeah, she joins Montel Williams, a fellow former Marine and Navy officer himself, for an episode later this season. The show honors veterans and service members by enlisting designers, contractors, landscapers, and other home improvement professionals to transform the homes and lives of military families across the country. So check that out. Looks like it's going to be pretty good. Also, congrats to Scarlett Bordeaux. Scarlett Bordeaux, as confirmed by the WWE, she is now signed to them. She's now known as Elizabeth SHEA. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. SHEA. She is their new recruit. She's now reporting for training at the WWE Performance Center in Florida. And she had this to say on Twitter: "I never understood why people say diva like it's a bad word. And of course, everybody wants to be a superstar. Well, I'm insatiable. Why settle for one when you can be both? Still a 10, still a smoke show, and now a super diva." So I'm happy for her. I really am. I just wish that as far as her man, Killer Cross, I think it's really fucked up what's going on with him and this whole debacle that's going on with Impact Wrestling. You know, I'll talk a little bit more about that on Monday's show, but I'm just going to leave it at that for now. It's just really fucked up, you know, that bygones can't be bygones already. Also, two more things I want to bring to you all's attention here. There's one I'm saving purposely for Monday because I want to dive into it a little bit more. But let's end on these two notes. For you gamers out there, WWE Champions, they have a new update, right? Check it out for your iOS, Android. They got a new update. All month long, they are celebrating Attitude Era. And in a month-long campaign, you'll be able to participate in key campaign modes, versus modes, game modes, and you'll be able to unlock exclusive content, particular gear items, things of that nature, relics and all that. And these items collectively, on top of when you hit certain milestones, it'll help you unlock certain Attitude Era characters. That includes the Ninth Wonder of the World, China. It also includes X-Pac. And there's even a co-owner, Ric Flair, that's up for grabs as well. So if you haven't played the game in a while, now's a good time to come on back, check it out and everything. I've been playing around with it off and on the past couple of days this week, and I've been kind of finding my way back into the groove of things again. Sometimes you just play some games and you just get burned out and you just go, I'm done with that for now. I will just... Also, WWE Supercard, heads up. They're going to be introducing on the 13th the 6th season of Supercard. And as part of the new season for Supercard, you're going to be able to overstack the hell out of cards you pro. So basically, let's say, for example, with the new season, it's only for season 6 cards, basically. All the new cards that's going to be introduced for season 6, they're going to be... You'll be able to overpower them. You'll be able to overpro them. So, for example, let's say you got yourself a new season 6 Roman Reigns, because they're supposed to introduce 3 new tiers. But let's just call that one of the new tiers. Let's just call the new tier Some Dumb Fuck, okay? So you got a Roman Reigns from the Some Dumb Fuck tier, right? Let's say you get 2 of those. You pro those, all right? You work up the stats for both of those, and then you pro them. You get 1 fucking pro. Now, let's say you get another Some Dumb Fuck Roman Reigns card, right? Okay, well, max that out, get it the matches it needs or whatever. Now, if you want, you can have that fuse with your pro Some Dumb Fuck Roman Reigns card that you've already pro'd, right? And then it'll overlap on the stats or whatever. And then, if I remember it right, season 6 Some Dumb Fuck Roman Reigns, get 2 of those, right? Pro it, get 2 more of those, pro it. You can combine now the mega pros and it'll overlap again that way. So I'm very curious to see how this new system is really going to be implementing and everything. And it kind of seems like they're trying to give more gamers for Supercard the incentive to be more engaging in not only just playing events. The one event that I think really stood out to me the most was they're going to introduce a performance center mode in the game. It's going to be right in between Fusion and NXT, where you usually go to just keep playing exhibition matches, basically. And in the performance center mode, you'll be able to take certain cards and you'll be able to get them XP and everything, train them up. And then once you've reached a certain level, like whoever I guess you were training against, if I kind of understand it right, you know, like that'll go away and then something else will take its place, and then you just keep repeating itself over and over again. So basically it's another alternative aside from the NXT mode. It's another opportunity to continue leveling up your cards as well. They're really stressing for participation. I know there's a lot of you guys that, if you're like me, and when it comes to WWE Supercard, I mean, look, I don't care for joining stables, and I get requests all the time. I'm at a point I don't care for joining stables because there's a lot of politics, bullshit crap that goes on. This person hasn't played in 3 days. Why? I vote we kick them out. And it's like, dummy, yeah, real life, work, 2 jobs, mortgage, house, cars, more to life than a video game. Well, you know, that's great for you because you're in high school, but some of us gotta go make some money for a living, right? But yeah, there's like people that take games like that way too fucking serious. And I just, you know what? I'm better playing by myself,
Man, not for nothing. I think my rank right now, I think I'm the highest tier right now. I'm SummerSlam 19 plus plus. Pretty much by myself. 95% since I've been playing Supercard, I've played by myself. I tried the alliances, and if you're like me, you get some of that same bullshit. And people that's not picking up their weight, there's certain cards you want, but the other people aren't picking up their weight, and it's like, what the fuck? So the team at Supercard, they try to help out with that a little bit, and the way that they try to help out is they now try to show you more information on players to give you an idea of who's really, really active as far as playing goes. And then, okay, what's their base average of shards that they normally pick up from Team Battleground? How much weight do they usually carry for ring domination, shit like that. And I think that's cool because as it stands right now, if you want to try to find good people for your teams, you got to use the WWE Supercard Reddit site. Now, that's always been a good place to go to if you're trying to find a really good team, that, especially if it's a laid back team and they're not really tripping over, you got to meet this demand and this demand and a minimum of this and you have to play this and all this other, like, fuck all that, man. I ain't even trying to hear that noise. But I like that they're trying to do that, but I still feel they need to focus more on the people that don't play those modes, that are like myself, coming from work. Maybe it's kind of slow at the office. I'm spending a lunch break or whatever, or maybe I'm in a meeting and I'm just kind of hammering out some shit that way. They still got to keep those solo gamers in mind and try to make it be 50-50 balanced is the gist of what I'm saying, basically. And then also, so we got the gaming. See, we talk games too. Also, for you WWE Backstage fans and you NXT fans, this is kind of something I was talking about on the show a couple of nights ago, as far as in some areas where they got to improve on Backstage. Start putting out the word as early as possible. Okay, this is going to be the next guest. They're going to be on the show. Okay, well, they seem to be following suit, right? So this coming Tuesday on WWE Backstage, they're going to have NXT champion Adam Cole on there. So that should be a very interesting show. So I actually might go in and check that out just to see what's going on with that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. For now, there's a couple other tidbits I could have dived into, but I'm going to save it for Monday's show. I can tell you this much. As far as Saturday night goes, I'm going to try to do my best to watch a stream for AEW Full Gear, but I will be live covering WoW Women of Wrestling. Shout out to everybody that had checked out last week's coverage, whether it was the web stream or you checked it out on demand and on the downloads. I had saw that to date. That was one of our most popular episodes that you all had checked out. So I like that it's starting to catch on a little bit. But yeah, I'll be with you guys Saturday night after WoW Women of Wrestling goes off the air on Access TV. I'll be live 9 p.m. Eastern. I will be live via the RCWR Show app, the Discord, also via YouTube, all the usual outlets. Make sure you get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Follow me that way. And also check out the Discord. We got the Discord. That's free. Like I said a couple of nights ago, come 2020, there's going to be a couple of shows. I haven't figured it out yet, but there's going to be a couple of shows that's going to be Discord only. You don't have to pay for Discord, right? You can download it. It's free. You can use it on your tablet, you can use it on your phone, your desktop, laptop. It's free to download, and the cool thing about it, you don't pay not 1 cent. You can interact with me, you can interact with Justin, a whole bunch of people in there. In between the shows, you can call into the show. Doesn't cost you a dime. It's awesome. But yeah, in 2020, there's going to be a couple of shows that we're going to make just Discord show exclusive only. And if anything, maybe we'll make it be available on the download. So you definitely want to make sure, if you haven't done so already, you hook up with that Discord. And I've got all the links for that for you in the episode description right now, as a matter of fact. So you can check that out when you guys get a chance. All right, that's going to do it. Appreciate you guys checking out your SmackDown recap as we kind of went a little bit all over the place. I will check you guys out this Saturday night for your Women of Wrestling recap. Until next go round, wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Cha-cha! Cha-cha-cha! Cha-cha! Is it cha or ta? It's ta-ta for now. Ta.